I'm going to try and stretch this video out a bit, make it a longer video. I'm going to aim for 25 minutes. I might not even make 25 minutes. I'm glad to say that I might have to get the old bell intro back into the videos. So I'm using a new editing software for these new videos that I'm uploading, and let's get on to talking about this Joshua versus Pulev fight. Now, Joshua versus Pulev is not a fight that I'm particularly excited about. I thought Joshua should have fought Pulev years ago, and Joshua was meant to fight Pulev years ago. The pair were meant to fight in 2017 in the same position. Pulev was Joshua's mandatory for his IBF title, and Joshua beat Vladimir Klitschko in April of 2017 and held the WBA and IBF at the time. I'm just returning here. I was installing Git on my Windows machine. For all you developers out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, the fight was scheduled in Cardiff, Wales around Halloween 2017. Pulev was the IBF mandatory, and he was scheduled to get, I believe, £5 million sterling for that fight in Cardiff, Wales, in the Principality Stadium. A lot will know it as what it was called, the Millennium Stadium. About 11 days before the fight, it's announced that Pulev had some sort of an injury, maybe like a knee injury or a calf injury. So the fight is officially off, and Joshua needs a replacement for the show to continue. So who steps in but the next in line? Carlos TAKHAM, at 11 days notice. And so the TAKHAM fight goes ahead, and Joshua, he actually beats TAKHAM on a controversial ending. The fight probably would have went the distance had it not been stopped prematurely, and I suspect that's to do with maintaining the 100% knockout ratio, or the knockout percentage that I had going into the fight. And then after that, Joshua fought Joseph Parker. Pulev, I think, fought Kevin Johnson, and so they kind of went in different paths for a while. Then when Pulev sends to Top Rank, he starts discussing about wanting to fight Joshua, and Bob Arum's singing Kubrat Pulev's praises too, as you can imagine. So Bob Arum's hyping Pulev, who he is the promoter for. Joshua then fights RUIZ in June of 2019, gets beat, which nobody sees coming, out of the blue, Andy Ruiz steps in when Jarrell Miller fails the drug test. Andy Ruiz beats Joshua, becomes the first Mexican / Mexican American heavyweight champion there is, and Joshua then has the rematch in the Saudi Arabia and wins a points decision. And then Pulev is still somehow the IBF mandatory. Why do I say this? Why do I bring this up? Like, why do I go through all this when a lot of the people know it? Because I'm not sure what Pulev's motive is. Because Pulev could have fought Joseph Parker for the WBO and fought Joshua down the line. He could have fought Deontay Wilder for the WBC, but he didn't. Internal politics might have stopped that from happening anyway, with broadcasting issues. But Pulev has been a mandatory, I believe, since about I want to say the last third of 2016. Parker was the mandatory, and then Parker fought Ruiz for the WBO. Parker became the WBO then, and Pulev is the mandatory. But Pulev, I'm not sure how serious he is about this Anthony Joshua conquest. Eddie Hearn was out in one of those Eastern European countries. Eddie Hearn ran a show there, and he had Jurgen Bremer, I think, fought, was it Nathan Cleverly? David Price was on that card and a few others. So this was in the early days of Pulev's mandatory position, the early months. And this video I'm gonna, or this scene I'm talking about, is actually on video on IFL. So Eddie Hearn just asked Pulev, do you want to fight Joshua? I think he was having trouble getting an opponent for the end of 2016. Joshua ended up fighting Eric Molina, but I can't remember what the story was in terms of who was meant to fight. Maybe Vladimir Klitschko, but then it happened immediately after. So Eddie Hearn just says to Pulev, just Joshua's got a date in December or whatever. Would you fight him? You're fighting for the IBF championship, and you know, chance to win the world title. And Pulev's kind of laughing and smiling, and you know, he's trying to be light-hearted about it, and he's kind of saying like, no, I'm not interested, or you know, I don't really fancy fighting Anthony Joshua right now, or whatever. So he kind of just plays it off like, nah, not really, you know, I'm okay, thanks but no thanks, basically. So this is when I thought to myself, how serious is Pulev about wanting to fight Joshua when it's there for him but he wouldn't have it? It's not like there was high rewards for what he went and done anyway. You know, he wouldn't have been getting any more than a couple of $100,000, say, for the fights that he was taking. eventually. Winning wee trinket belts, not fighting anyone too serious. Yes, an old veteran in Kevin Johnson, but Kevin Johnson's long past his best, and he's not like a world champion or anything. So yeah, this, like, how serious was he about it? Was he just delaying it until Joshua got more belts so that it's more reward for just the one opponent? I don't know, because sure, he fought Vladimir Klitschko, and Vladimir Klitschko, he had multiple belts too. So maybe that's Pulev's game. Maybe Pulev just wants to become world champion, make money, and leave. But Pulev, well, I know that Dillian Whyte didn't take a fight with Pulev, but Pulev hasn't took a fight with a Carlos Takam or anyone like that. He did actually fight Fury in 2018, which was pretty, not too bad. Not too bad of an opponent. It's not the worst in the world, Huey Fury. He does have a certain style where he can mess you about and nick points, nick rounds. So it's, there's something there. So, as I reiterate from earlier, they go their separate ways. Joshua loses. Joshua wins titles, he loses, and then he comes back and wins. So Pulev must want the most belts and just go through one man. And it wouldn't even surprise me if he'd waited until there was an undisputed champion and then just immediately challenge them. But I don't understand, at the same time I don't understand why he didn't try and unify with Joshua, because it would make a hell of a lot more money than, if he beats Joshua, then what? It's like, to me, it wasn't really making enough progress to warrant a mandatory spot. That's my honest opinion. And like I said, Dillian Whyte wouldn't fight Kubrat Pulev. So that would have been for example, a good for Pulev and for Whyte if they want world title shots. And no disrespect, but fighting a QA Fury, it's a good one to have. A young man, 6'7", long jab, decent boxing skills, good movement. That's a good one, but apart from that, nothing much else. So Joshua has been fighting active underdogs and stuff like that. So like Alexander Povetkin, who's around Pulev's age. As I said, Carlos Takam, world champion, and Joseph Parker. Who did he fight? Well, he fought Alexander Povetkin. He fought Andy Ruiz Jr. He's fighting real live guys in there. Some of them, sort of in the prime years of their career, and I beat them. So, he's been having a more active stretch. He's been really taking on tough challenges, really, and that's been his thing since he's won the titles. So, yeah, part of me thinks Pulev is thinking about cashing out, and to be honest, I don't really know if he wanted out of the first fight or whether he was legitimately injured. I think Pulev, I think the 2017 was his best chance of really doing anything. I know he's saw chinks now in Joshua's armour, but I don't think he really has anything he could model on that method of defeating Joshua. Now he does have skills and he's got dimensions that say an Andrew Ruiz doesn't have. I don't see it regardless. I don't see it happening. So yeah, I mean, it's not like Pulev's another one of them good challenges for Joshua, but he's older. He's not looking as great these days. He's 39 years old. He's not the guy who challenged Klitschko, but he could possibly make it a bit cagey initially. Heavy jab. You know, he's got that fencing style of boxing. That heavy left hand. And he's good with leaning back out of the way and that kind of thing. But he doesn't really have the foot speed or the hand speed and he doesn't have the ability to trade in exchanges. He's more of a drawn out lead puncher. That Eastern European Vladimir Klitschko. School of boxing. The jab could cause problems. Joshua too is a good jab. I really like Joshua's jab. It's fast. It's fast. I saw it in the RUIZ rematch. How fast it was. It's a good example. And his straight punches are good. If he's able to time jab merchant like Pulev, who times it good, got heavy power on it. You know, Joshua's got the speed on it and probably the timing too to upset the rhythm. And he's got more in terms of his straight punches. It's a two-handed fighter, as I call it. And I don't mean he's orthodox and southpaw, but I mean he can punch with both hands. He can throw multiple punches. You know, he's got uppercuts and hooks to his arsenal, and the straight right. You know, the straight right reminds you of his coach, Rob McCracken. Rob McCracken very much has, you know, influenced AJ's style in terms of how he boxed when he was a professional. So there is that element to it. But yeah, AJ is the hand speed and the foot speed, but I just think that with the mid-range artillery, mid-range combinations, Joshua has this one. Joshua has it in the back. I don't see it going the distance, if I'm honest. I don't really see how Pulev could throw enough together to stop Joshua. I just don't think he has it in him. Now he does have a good jab that could, you know, buckle Joshua. But I don't see him taking Joshua out at all. I don't see him having enough work rate to win a points decision either. I just don't see it happening at all. I think Joshua at this point, his offense, his speed, and his skills should grant him an excellent win. How excellent? TKO or KO within the first 8 rounds of the fight. Probably more like 6 or 7. I do see Pulev, yes, having success. He is a world level operator after all. But yeah, I don't really give Pulev much of a chance. 20% chance maybe. Especially at this stage. Yeah, in 2014, yeah, that Pulev has more chance. Maybe 35%. So, yeah, I would put money on this fight. I'm not as to which round. I have no idea, but, you know, group round betting, absolutely. And I do myself several wagers. I think I have it not to go the distance, and, you know, some group rounds for Joshua. Probably for Joshua to win by TKO as well, or KO. Because the artillery is just going to be too much, and it could end in 4 rounds as well. It could end quite soon. With a guy like Pulev, he's kind of a plodding style. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see how you can gather enough momentum to really put a dent in Joshua. So, yeah, I nearly made my 25-minute mark in this video. Now, the audio quality, I've been listening back, it's not great, and it's because I'm using the internal microphone in the laptop. And this laptop is great processing power I have on me, but I am looking into maybe getting an uncompressed audio format, like an XLR microphone for crisp quality audio, or go back to when I used the sound recorder device, which was like a portable handheld Zoom H1 recorder, and that was a good one. It wasn't like super loud or anything, or super condensed, and I would be looking at getting a condensed microphone, but it was very portable, it was very easy to use, and the audio was significantly better than any of the devices I used actually before that. So I'm going back to that, maybe that way of going about it. I just have, you know, I had to move back, you know the situation. I had to move back, obviously. The audio equipment is not really ideal at the minute, but you will be seeing that, I think. You will see the maybe the voice recorder again, until I can afford maybe an XLR microphone setup, and then I wouldn't have to really speak as pronounced in these videos as I have to, because of the lack of sort of audio output, or the sound output. And I mean, I have the sound recorder, so I don't have it on me currently, as I say, but I do own one, so, and the audio quality is pretty good, and there is other files of that which could make possibly videos. I've got a few archive videos, and I'm sure some of you might be able to guess what kind of videos they were from what stuff I was doing back in the day, like back in 2018 when I was using the voice sound recorder. So hopefully, if I could access my external hard drive, which thankfully I do have now, I can get my wee intro clips and stuff back in and have a more sort of better production. Because I don't really care about necessarily my style of delivering, say, speaking about these topics, these books and things, because I'm going to create my own style. I'm not going to be too formal or too informal. I'm going to kind of engage myself and just analyse and tweak things and go by what I think is best, and possibly some feedback. So, but I know, yes, a video without any kind of audio quality to it, it's like very hard to watch in general. like it's even worse than even like a low pixel density video where it's like 240p, but you'd want excellent audio to go along with it. And yeah, I'm hoping to get into that kind of a thing, and I have, as you've seen, I have been able to refine my channel a bit. Like I changed my style of doing videos a wee bit, and say I don't do the news clips anymore, the quotes from the articles. I found that to be a bit boring, and just reading them out loud, and maybe I didn't have the screen recordings and stuff at the time as well. I didn't have the live screen capture to really go along with it. But it's a ever continuing process. I don't want to think that I'm too good, or that everything I'm doing is always going to be okay. It's an ever continuing process. Anyways, I'm not gonna speak too much longer because I just wanted to discuss that. As I'm going along through the videos, here and there I will, give you a little bit more information on these kind of things. I'm gonna try and get it done. A little bit busier these days, so it's just fitting time slots in during the week to do them on the weekends. But I'm glad to be doing it. So thanks.